Okay, so now here I have another Colt 1900. This one in particular is serial number 2018. This one was returned to Colt and the sight safety has been removed on it. Now you can see that Colt, when they redid this, they put a block in here and they pinned it in and put a fixed sight on it at that point in time. Now, the reason this one's in the collection is it has roll markings of a 1902, but it's still a 1900 slide with the groove for the sight safety. And you can see what nice shape this one's in. It looks excellent. It still has the nickel-plated magazine at this point in time. The slide serrations have been moved forward. Nice looking gun. We'll do a quick cleaning of this one now. Okay, well, I've just finished cleaning this gun. I took quite a bit of time, a lot of detail in and around the sight, the front sight up here. Was really starting to get a lot of buildup in and around here, and that's some of the first things that can lead to corrosion in and around those areas. The slide serrations, I spent quite a bit of time cleaning those, and in and around back in the hammer, just trying to get that oil out of there that's built up quite a bit of layer. Now, I don't use this pick that I'm pointing with because I don't want to scratch those surfaces. I'm using a cotton shirt, the remnants, and I will very lightly push on some areas, but I use a lot of light and extreme caution to make sure that I am not gouging any of that metal. Last thing you want to do is scratch anything. This particular gun is just in beautiful shape. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but the bluing on this, it looks excellent for as old as it is. Okay, so now I'm going to do a quick few notes on the front of this slide. You can see the half moon shape of the front sight, and then on the rear, where they've taken and put in a filler plug, an extra pin, and the rear sight is dovetailed to the top of the slide. Now this one that I'm currently cleaning is a very late 1900. This is a serial number 4177, and it's got the hard rubber grips on it. And this one here has a round hammer on it. And it's in excellent shape also. I think you can see a little bit of the bluing here. So, some more examples of some detailed changes in the 1900 as its production moved along. So this would be, as I said, a late 1900. The serial numbers ended at 4274, I think was the last what's considered 1900 made, when the last of the sight safety slides were used. Okay, so now I'm in the middle of cleaning a Colt 1902 sporting model. Now, this one here is serial number 4634, so the serial number makes it fall into the range of being produced in early 1902. There were only 625 of these produced in 1902, and by this point in time, Colt had used up all the slide safeties, or the sight safeties, and I'm trying to show you this slide here. I don't know if it's going to show up very well on camera, but at this point in time, they were no longer being replaced with plugs and pins in the back where the sight safety would have been. Colt had a reputation for taking and using up all their parts that they had on hand. They rarely threw anything away. So you'll see these variations where they'll use older parts and try to use them up out of their inventories. The hard rubber grips here, and these were made in an effort to try to improve the grip on the frame, because these, as I've mentioned in prior videos, these are very slick. They're hard to really get a good grip on. That was one of the problems that the Army officers reported with these, was they just, they were designed for use in the cavalry, and it was hard to get the first shot off. Now, some of the other things that you might want to note with this is it still has the high spur hammer on this one, and they were starting to introduce round hammers close to this point in time, and this one is of course a very rare model, and it's actually still in really pretty good shape. Another good example of the deep, rich charcoal blue that Colt liked to use, and the small parts were done in a fire blue, such as these screws and trigger and some of the other pieces on it. But just another beautiful example of the very early Colt automatic guns. These still had a long ways to go to get to the 1911, and as you can see, it still has a nickel plated magazine in it. So at this point in time, they were still making them like that. This example is a beautiful example of an early 1902 sporting. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. Okay, so this Colt 1902 model here is officially one that recognizes the first sporting. This one actually has the roll marking showing the September 9th, 1902 patent on it. Some of the differences with this is, I showed this in an earlier video, but it has the takedown plug here in the front, making it easier to disassemble. Colt continued production of the takedown hole there to put the paper clip in, or whatever to hold the recoil spring and get the slide lock out. So now this has changed, and we're looking at serial number 5235. It's not much different than the other one. It's still pretty much the same as the 1900 at this point. A lot of things are virtually the same. So let's see, this one here, I'll have to look and see what the year of production is. I think this is 1903. Yeah, I'm sure this is 1903.